Okay. Now, we have progressed a bit. I mean, not that much, but yes, we are slowly but surely getting into a position where we trying to understand, and we have understood a lot. We have understood why we are running this Spring Core IOC, this inverse of control, because we wanted to give all our responsibility of the objects to the Spring framework. So we have, in that process, we have covered bin factory, we have covered application context, we have covered Spring container, we have covered singleton versus prototype, that design pattern. We have also seen how we have the setter injection. Basically, these are injections. You are injecting something into your configuration. And then the constructor injection as well. That is the injection through the constructor. You are not using the property. As well as you have seen that like the property or the constructor, you can also inject the reference to a property. An object is also a property. That way, we can also inject the object into another object. And that is through the ref attribute, the reference. Okay. Up to that, and I think, see, initial stages, you will find a bit, these are new things, new concepts. It is not that simple, but you have to keep on going through the videos. You have to keep on reading through the video, pausing the video, trying to understand, try to copy not the copy, you try it yourself, but you can follow the instructions from there, and gradually you build your own concept. You hear what I am saying and then follow it, and you will suddenly one fine morning, you will understand that, oh, it was that simple. Not simple, it was quite interesting. Similarly, today we start with some thing which we have left over, that is the auto wiring. Now, all these things, all this endeavor is just that we come to auto wiring, because this is also the primitive form. The final form we will see in the boot, in the Spring Boot, you have already seen, but that is through the annotation. But here we are not going through the annotation, because at that point of time, Java world didn't have any annotation. It was there, but auto wiring annotation was not there, because we were still in the why. Can you say that annotation of that auto wire was not there? Can anybody tell me? We have already discussed that. If you can recollect what was said. Okay. Okay, let me tell you. At that point of time, it was only objects. The concept of component was not there. And the container, concept of container, but that container will only contain the objects. But like an annotation called component, to convert that object into a component was not available at that point of time. Okay. So that is the reason we will use the auto wire concept, but that is through our configuration, because we are still not in the Spring Boot era. Here we are using the annotation. Here we are using through the configuration. Let us see that. Which one was that? Okay, let me go through that.
Spring demo.
Spring demo. Okay, fine. Spring demo, yes. This thing is not moving out of the screen. The entire thing.
So I think you have to
Huh?
refresh the yes Eclipse. I mean
Refresh.
Spring Suite.
Didn't follow you. No, no. I was facing a problem of I'm not being able to make the that entire button of the your what is that meeting controls. I cannot remove that meeting controls. Why it is? You know how to get rid of that. Why it is giving a disturbance, a lot of disturbance today. It is not getting out of the screen. I don't know how this. Let me stop the share and I will reshare. Huh?
Okay.
No, it is still not going. Okay, let me continue. I don't know how to get rid of this. Anybody can help me? How to get rid of? There is one, the entire mute, start video, security, participants, chat, new share, and this, the entire block of thing is coming and blocking my view. Anyway, let's carry. Sometimes these things are too much. Let me first open the Spring XML and also the old Spring XML. Let me consult this one. So for auto wearing, I need to have app Spring auto wear Java. Okay, that is the main runnable program, app Spring auto wear. Okay, that is the main program that you know. And what else? Align auto wear Java. Align auto wear Java. Computer Java. Computer Java. We have kept in the same package. Then there is the laptop AutoWare, desktop AutoWare, and Spring XML. So two things are left, which is laptop AutoWare and desktop AutoWare. These are simple programs. So we are making this very simple. What we are doing, we are in the main. That is what we are going to run. We are going this application context factory, application context, the same that you know, that spring.xml you are calling. Here, I am using align AutoWare. The same thing, but I'm using AutoWare because I have given the name as AutoWare because this will be used in the auto wearing. But the concept is the same. Now, instead of laptop, I'm using an interface called computer. Let us see, because somebody that align can have a computer, which could be a laptop, or which could be a desktop, or which could be a palm top, or which could be a tablet, anything. But basically, it's a use of computer. So let me see what is computer. It is an interface. And I have in that interface an abstract method called compile, because interface will not implement any method. It's an abstract method. That is a Java funda, right? You all know. Any confusion? Anirban? You ask me at the point where you don't understand. Don't ask me if once the topic is over.
Sir, can you repeat again, sir?
If I ask you a question, you can say repeat. That should not be the thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
What do I repeat? I have just started. I have not done any repetition at all. I have just started. I'm saying that I have created one. Do you understand interface?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is that? What is interface?
Interface is the sir, extends class and implements another interface.
No, 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 no. You have some basic understanding problem. Interface is not inheritance. Why did you take
So interface is achieved by fulfilling the abstract class.
interface?
Interface is created to fulfill the concrete abstract class. You have to repair the abstract class, sir.
Okay. So I'm
Interface
creating that interface.
is not like abstract class, but concept is same.
It is not an abstract class. Did I mention class anywhere? See, this computer is an interface. It is not a class. It is not an abstract class. This method is an abstract method because this method doesn't have any body.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. You can ask me any question, but if I ask you a question, you do not have a concept clear.
Okay, sir.
I do not have any, because in an abstract, in an interface, you will immediately get an error, because abstract methods do not specify a body. You cannot have any defined method in an interface. So I'm declaring an abstract method within the interface. That is the function of an interface. I'm just giving an interface. I'm giving just a skeleton on which you will this is our canvas. The canvas is for either painting or maybe for some sculpture, or maybe you are doing a water painting and somebody is doing a acrylic painting, or somebody. So the function might differ, but you are just saying that I want a function of compile. How this function, what is the function? No, but it is not defining. It is giving just an abstract method. That is where you have given an interface. I'm a computer. It is not specifying whether I'm a laptop or I'm a desktop or a palm top or anything. I'm just saying that this is an interface, but whoever is going to implement interface computer is going to implement the abstract method called compile.
Abstract method.
Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
And I have designed that within the computer, I will implement the computer through laptop and desktop. So I go to laptop. I've given a name of this class. This is a class which will implement the computer. That is the purpose of a class. Now I'm giving a shape of this computer, because this computer was just an interface. I'm giving it a shape now. I'm definitely saying that I will implement the computer because I will have a laptop. And since this is the class which will implement the computer, it has to implement the compile method. So I'm defining a method called compile. So I'm saying code compiled in laptop AutoWare. Correct? Then let's go to desktop. It is similarly desktop, this class implements computer, and similarly it will implement the compile. It will define the compile method of computer. Code compiled in desktop. So what do we have? We have three things. One is the interface. Now this interface I'm going to inject into Align. Align is our computer operators or computer programmers or whatever. And that computer programmer is having a computer. But what type of computer? It is saying that it has a laptop or it has a desktop. That we will see. So first of all, let us understand Align. It is the same thing as that we have seen for Align. In this Align, we had directly a code. But here, or say Align container, it will have you injected laptop, because at that time it was only laptop. The other day, what we have seen, right? And you can see that laptop is an object, and you can use a getter and setter method of object. Those things we have discussed. I will not go and repeat it. Now, coming to this Align also, this Align also has one property called age. And here we are using computer interface. We are basically injecting, saying that, okay, we are giving it a name, an alias name of this. So this is a variable or an object by the name com of type what? Computer. Though computer is an interface, but we are giving a reference. We are giving a reference of this. Like in Java, what you would do, you will say computer com. Okay. And what will you do? See, this computer is
Equal
interface.
to
New computer, sir.
How can you say new computer? Is computer a class?
new laptop or new desktop
New
or new
laptop
tablet.
where? You will say new laptop
Oh,
auto where this is the Java, and you say a default constructor. That's all. So you can create an object called com, or you could have done desktop where AutoWare. But I am not doing this because I am not going to create or remove or whatever, load any, instantiate any object, because I am in Spring framework. Let Spring handle all this object creation and everything in the background. Again and again, I am repeating this thing. This is what you have to understand. We have to change our way of how we have learned Java. I mean, it is not that you have to forget it, but we are adapting our knowledge into some other form, because we are now giving handing over the computer, handing over the object, all the methods of object to the Spring framework. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm declaring com as an object of type computer. Can I do that? Because by saying that, it will know that this com will finally be created through laptop where or through desktop where. That intelligence it has, because you have asked that it should be injected. That's all. Now, this is the default constructor that I have to have. Otherwise, Spring framework cannot create the object of its own by its own. You just say that you might not give anything like this. You might have a default constructor with a empty body. That is fine. For here, just to understand that I am align container object created, that is created by the Spring framework. That to remind us. Now, I am using the getter and setter methods of what? Of getter and setter
Com.
methods of not the property. Here I'm saying get com. What is com? Com is this. It's an object. So it's an object. So getter and setter methods of object, because I would like to set some value, get some value. So this is the setting the value. I'm passing an object called com of type computer in the setter method, and I am assigning com object to the instance object, or whatever you say to the com. This is a new concept. This is the concept that Spring has brought in, not Java. I mean, Java, everything is Java, but Spring has first time given you that concept of that you can inject an object within another object. Earlier in Java, what we were doing, we were calling a class from another class, isn't it? But here we are not calling, we are directly injecting. We are directly injecting a separate, either an interface or a class. Here in this example, we are using interface because earlier example we had seen that we had injected a class, either laptop or desktop. No, we were not using desktop at all. We were using laptop only. But here you are also, because you are going to manipulate the object and basically the interface. Sometimes you will call desktop, sometimes you will call laptop. Okay, that's why you are referring to that as an interface. You are not saying laptopware or autoware. Anyway, so this computer, I am getting a setter and a getter for this computer interface. Clear? Because why you have given public computer? You could have given void, right? Immediately you will see that you are getting an error. Because what is the return? What is the return type? You are returning an object of type computer. So that is the return type. What is being returned from the method is an object. So you are saying return com, because I am trying to get the object. So I have to return the object. Like if you are this is the getter property of get age. Age is one property, and you are saying the getter property as get capital A G E. What you are doing? Returning age, because you want to display the age. So you're returning the age. And so what is the return type? It is an int.
Int. Yes.
But here you are setting it. You are not returning anything. You are using the set age to assign age, which you are passing as a parameter into age. These are all Java fundals. Okay. So quickly, I am returning a computer type com. Here I am assigning com into this. We will see the application. So once we have defined the getter and the setter, we move ahead, and then we see that there is a code, that is a method which has been defined under align autoware. In this code, like the previous example, we are passing a string object, obj, whatever any name you can give here over here, and you are saying that obj I am coding, and here I have used equals. So that means in this app Spring autoware, the main Java program, what I'm going to give? I'm going to give exactly obj7. I'm not going to give any extra one extra character as well, not even space. Otherwise, it cannot match. So to verify that, I will go there and I will see that I have passed in only obj7. Now I am not using contains. Yes, if you had used contains, it will also work. But I just wanted to show you that it can also work if you give equals, because I'm only sending exact obj7. I'm sending obj7 as a parameter in the method code of align AutoWare. Align AutoWare. So I'm sending this object. And this obj, what I'm sending as a parameter, is equals obj. So this condition will return what? True or false? True,
True, yes.
isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because again, if I had given something else like obj, now you tell me, will it be true or false? Will it be true? Anyone?
False,
False.
sir, false.
It will be false because it is not exactly equal. Yes, but if you had made it contains,
Then it will be true, sir. Yes.
then it will be
It's
true.
Then true, sir.
Then true. Yes, very good.
Contents means true and false.
Because this obj7 is one word within the this entire string. It matches, exactly matches obj7. So then it's fine. But if you say equals, it will never be true. It will be false because it is not exactly equal to obj7, because here you are passing obj7 colon dash. So it is not exactly exactly equal. Therefore, I will pass exactly obj7 only if I want to make this true. Now this becomes true. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And then within that, if this becomes true, I am saying I am using this object which has been created by Spring Framework. I will say compile. I will call compile method. And where is the compile method? Where can I find the compile method? I'm calling com. What is com?
in the computer.
Computer.
Com
But again,
Java.
computer is an interface. And here I have said that when I'm calling this com, I am actually setting a value, computer com. So whenever you are setting this value, because otherwise this is still not an object, this is a interface. So in turn, what will it do? It will either call laptopware or a desktopware, depending on how you configure where and how you would like to, which one will you like, which bin you would like to execute when you call this, when you call this, when you call this. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying I'm creating an object. I mean the Springware, I'm asking Springware to create this object such that I can pick up, I can get the bin through the Alliance 6 bin ID. And then once I get this bin ID, I will use that object which has been created and I will call the code with the obj7. So I will call the code obj7 and I'm passing that obj7, and obj7 dot equals, or yes, definitely it's true. And I'm then in turn, I'm using this object to call the compile method. So it will go here. Okay, now the question is, which one will one will it call to implement the compile method? That is where we need to do our configuration. Okay, let me save this first of all. See, I am not mentioning over here. I'm only said that I wanted to inject computer. I have not mentioned out of this computer which particular class I'm trying to call or create an object of. And here I am creating the object of align AutoWare. But nowhere in align AutoWare I am saying that I am trying to use laptop or desktop. That is the part that we will do with our configuration file. That is where I would like to do some AutoWare. Up to this, we have understood object or entity injection. For object, we use ref. That is called the ref attribute. Up to that point, we have learned. Now, only this will not help. Okay, because I now have to, it is not only lab, it is also desktop. It is not only laptop. Let me remark this because this topic is over. Fine. Which one was okay? This, let it be there. Laptop, though I'm not using it, but the bin, if you leave it that is not declared, then that is a problem because you are using lap or laptop, whatever it is. But here, since I am just referring to laptop AutoWare. So in this case, you might keep this because I'm not using laptop. I'm using laptop AutoWare, some other class. So everything I have commented out. So basically, I have commented out everything. I could have commented out all these things because I'm not using align container. Those things are already done. I'm not using align. But leave it. I can also leave this open. It doesn't matter. Okay, let us start fresh. What is my requirement? My requirement is to use this interface, and through this reference of com is the, like age is the property, com is also a property, but it is a property, it's an object property. So I cannot ignore this. So I have to come through this because my align AutoWire has injected computer, which is an interface. It has not directly injected laptop or desktop because it cannot inject. If there are 100 objects, you cannot keep on injecting 100 times. Will that be logical? That's why you say and define an interface, and you compile that or whatever that you implement that interface through different objects, and but you do not need to inject all the objects over here. Just one. The interface will be enough. And how you are going to configure that to let the Java or the Spring framework know which one is what, which one will you call, which object will you call, then you are using the Spring XML. So first of all, let me understand from you, what do I start with? I'm going to use something called AutoWare. So AutoWare will be the definition under the bin. So I will use the bin, but I have to use a bin. Otherwise, how will I define this? This is the bin name, bin ID basically. I am getting the bin through the bin ID. So don't I need to define a bin ID like this? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody else is responding. Is it tough?
No, sir.
Subhash, Roshan, Kundan, Ashish?
No, sir.
It is not tough. Just
No, sir. Not
think
tough,
of the
sir.
thing that I have given a bin that I am trying to say that from this factory, I am going to pick up a bin by the ID. So I definitely have to define that ID. That
Yes.
ID is not there. If you try to like Spring framework, whenever with this, it will try to find an ID of like this. Line 6, the bin, it will try to find. But it is not finding it. Why? Because you have not defined it. So let us define it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me copy this from here. I'm saying bin ID align 6. So it matches. It matches. And what is there
Yes.
inside is the class. Which class I will call? I will no longer call align container or align because my class now is align AutoWire. Isn't it? This is
Yes,
the
sir. Align auto.
this is the bin. Basically, this is the entity bin or the Pojo class, whatever you say. This is the Pojo class because this is an entity bin. Okay. And I go here, I say, yes, you please pick up this class or the bin by the ID align 6. Forget about this one for the time being. In this AutoWare, I'm not going to use anything like property or anything. I will like to do it with AutoWare. Yeah, I will define the property. But AutoWare is of two types. By name. So you can go by the name of the property. What is the name of the property of the object?
Com.
Com. Very good. Com. Here you have defined com. Like you have defined age, which is also a property, but here this com is the name of the object property. So I have to use something of a property within the bin ID.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm picking up this property. Okay, I have to use the age as well. So I'm fine. I'm doing this age first of all, one by one. Because in this, I'm also printing the age. So I'm defining that age like it is a setter injection. What is this called? This is the sub bin. I mean the property is the sub element of bin. Correct. So what I'm doing is I am saying that the property name is age. Why? I cannot give anything because here I have defined. What is the main class? What is the main class? You are saying that my ID is this, but my class is align AutoWire. So everything is defined under align AutoWire. And did I define a property called age? Yes. Right? So that property I'm saying that I'm assigning a value of 19 to age. This is called setter injection, isn't it? I do
Yes.
not give it because this is an XML file. So I better not give in a, suddenly I cannot give it like this. It's a very strict one. Okay. But you understand, Oh, what I did, I have to close the bin. Fine. So one thing is already done. What is left? What is left? There is another property, object property com. So I have to define that as well.
Yes.
Okay. Now I will say property, this one. I will pick up this. I will put it under this. What I am doing here, let us understand. I am saying whenever I am referring to this com as a property name, I will refer to laptop sorry, this one will be
Laptop auto wire.
So what I'm doing here is I'm referring to laptop. Why? Why, can anybody tell me? And if I referred it by laptop, did I declare the bin? I mean the bin. This is basically a bin ID. I can give any name. I could have given a, okay, I should do it here. I could have given it a name called L as well. Just a reference. But this reference means what? Okay, let me tell you. Where is the property? Ref. Where is the ref? Ref. Though it is not used right now, but whenever you have said lab, did you not define the lab ID? And then you say that, yes, I
Yes,
am
sir.
using
Pin ID
laptop,
of lab class, yes.
laptop bin. So similarly, if I had given a name as laptop or L, then I have to, then I will give a bin ID like this. Step by step. Everything is step by step. Otherwise, if I don't give, let's say I give laptop, anything, and now I execute my program. I have up to this point, everything is defined. That is, I'm saying auto wire by name. By name will tell you, by name means the name of the property. If you say auto wire by name, this is a configuration file. So auto wire comes as an attribute of bin. Bin. That attribute says that I can auto wire. Auto wire means auto inject, automatically inject a bin by name. But what is the name here? I have mentioned that name is the property. And then I'm saying, if my property is the name that I'm referring by, so the auto where I will automatically inject laptop. And then what is laptop? Did you define laptop anywhere? Because laptop is also bin. Because otherwise it will not find which class or which bin, entity bin it is referring to. It is a reference. Okay. So let me save this and try to understand when we run this. We are going to run this as the main program. So what we will do? We are going to say run as Java application.
Java application.
Yes. Oh, again, I am getting that problem of. Okay, we are seeing the cause, the root cause. Root cause says no such bin definition. One word is enough. That no bin named laptop available. So your next, see, you can make mistakes. There is no harm. But you have to debug the mistake as well. It is clearly mentioning that no bin named laptop available. It is saying laptop. Oh, okay. You might get confused. I say L. Okay. I'm saying refer L. Um, I will go to this and I will again run this Java application. Correct? You have to understand every bit of it. It is saying no bin named L. Did you see? It is not mentioning laptop. As you have defined, it will not get anything out of the air. It will get something which you are trying to do. You had said, I want to refer to a bin by the name L. But did you define it? No. So I will define it now. Will it be fine? Two errors. First of all,
No.
that is not a lab, it is L. Right? Everyone agree?
Yes.
L. Because here you are mentioning ref L. So you are trying to search a bin with an ID of L. And that L will take me to the class. But is it laptop or laptop autoware?
Laptop autoware.
Laptop autoware, sir.
Autoware. So each and every step that you take is a logical step. You understand each and every bit of it. Clear? Now, are
Yes,
you
sir.
fine? Anything else? It should work. I don't know, but it should work. Let me run this and let me say Java application. Oh, yes, it worked. But did you see that the code compiled in laptop autoware? Where it is getting this message? First of all, it went to by very simple thing. It is referred to as L by the name. By the name means com. Com is the property. Com is the property where I'm getting this. I'm getting in align autoware. Everything is linked to each other. So I go to this one align align autoware, and I see that this is my property, object property. Yes, definitely. And that object is referred because that is an object. I cannot use a value like here. This is different. This is the property and this is an object property, or basically an object. So L, whenever you are saying L, you are going to find this bin. And what this bin is doing, it is injecting laptop autoware into align autoware. That's why you are setting the setting. This is the, you are setting the com. And that computer is nothing but, because here you have mentioned, you are directly saying that I want the laptop. So the laptop autoware is going to implement the computer interface. Are you getting me? Why that setcom has been done, setter method?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
And then you say, go there. And yeah, and this autoware has automatically injected not computer, but injected laptop autoware. That means, therefore, this one is executed. That's why you are seeing code compiled in laptop autoware. Now, very simple. Can I go there and change something such that I can get, instead of laptop, I can get desktop?
Desktop autoware. The
Desktop
same.
autoware.
Ah,
Desktop
yes.
autoware, yes, sir.
Can I copy this? Or better to say laptop, otherwise it is getting confusing. Laptop. And here I mentioned laptop. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Another
Yes.
property I give it, I say, when I refer to com, I say desktop. So if I say desktop, I have to define a bin called desktop because this is an ID. So here I say, sorry, I have to give a small, always mention anything here because this is not an object or not a class, just a name, desktop. And what do I change here?
Desktop AutoWire.
Ah, desktop AutoWare. Now will it run? By name I said. By name I said. And I cannot
Yeah.
say, I cannot give anything other than com because com is the property, exactly the property through which I can refer the interface computer. I cannot change it. If you say something else, common, no. How do you know? There is no such property I have to get. But I have to refer through some ID which should be different from this. Therefore, I find desktop and I wanted to go to desktop AutoWire. Now let me run this. You should get code
But it will
compiled
get
in desktop
confused.
AutoWire, isn't it? Anyone? Any doubt?
Yes.
I have a doubt. Let's see. Oh, yes. So what is the root cause? Let me check. Offending resource. This is the main cause, root cause. What is that? Bin definition parsing exception. Configuration problem. There's a problem in my spring.xml. It is clearly mentioning configuration problem. You are not doing configuration correctly. Why? Because multiple property definitions of property com. Oh, such a nice message. What it is saying? Can anybody explain me?
It get confused by
Yes,
calling the com.
yes, you are confusing it. You are saying the property is com. You are referring to the laptop ID. Also, again, you are saying com and desktop. Which one will it do? Which one will it execute? Laptop AutoWare or desktop AutoWare? If you try to confuse the runtime engine, it will simply stop there and give you there is an offending resource, class path resource in the spring.xml. The resource is confusing or conflicting or offending. So please try to use only one. Let me, if I have to do it, I have to make one off. Okay. Now let me see. Now it is saying code compiled in desktop AutoWare. Because simple thing, it goes checks by the name, AutoWare by name. So the name is com, okay, and you are referring to desktop. So it will go to align AutoWare. It will try to find com, okay, computer. So computer is an interface. So it will again go here. And so this is an interface. It is not a bin. This interface is not a bin class, entity class. So it will again go there. It actually getting a bit tight spot. It is not finding computer. Computer is an interface. But then it knows that, okay, I will go by the name. I will go by the name. So in this, I find desktop. It will try to look for the desktop ID. It finds it. And therefore, it executes. Okay? Clear? Any confusion, any doubt? So I'm going by the name. There is another thing called type.
Sir, yes,
File
sir.
type.
I have a question, sir. I have another question, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, why the desktop is preferred over laptop here in this case?
No, it is not preferred. I'm saying that, see, this is an interface. There can be, I have mentioned only 2 objects, but there can
Okay,
be
sir.
another 5 objects which can implement the compile, some functionality. I have given only one method. There can be several 20 abstract methods, but the name of the interface remains the same.
Yes, sir.
So are you going to inject all say, let there be the 20 object classes, entity bin, which will refer to the interface computer, and it will say computer size, like computer has many parts. One is CPU, one is RAM, one is your hard
Hard
disk,
disk.
one is monitor, and so many parts. So if you keep on having uh, for each part, if you want to have a interface, that is wrong design. You create one interface for computer, or say HP computer. So HP computer is having all you will only declare the abstract methods, and then define the exact class which will implement a particular method. Okay.
Can I change the name of method at the void compile?
Method. Sorry.
Can we change the name of method, sir?
Okay. I can change the method. First of all, then I have to change the method name here. I will change it to. You tell me. You suggest me what should be the method name. Say computer part.
It can be anything, sir.
Just I am saying just to declare. I'm declaring a method.
Yes, sir.
Just to check, man. This is an example to let you understand the auto-wire functionality. How do you configure auto-wiring? Okay, that injection, automatic injection of the object.
Yes, sir.
Here it is object. Afterwards, in the Spring Boot, you will see it is this thing. What is that? It is the annotation auto-wire. So, this is not very important whether you make it compile or you give it any name,
Yes, sir.
or any method. But then you have to do it several places. This is the interface. So this interface will be implemented by here, by this object or this class over here, and somewhere else as well. And somewhere else as well.
So yes, sir.
Where?
To change the name of method.
Is it here? You have a code. You have a method called code, but that code is under align auto-wire. So you go there in this code. In this code, you are calling.
Yes, the code dot. Yes.
So in this, you have to change it to
Any
any
method. Yes, sir.
then it is fine. So everywhere you make a change.
Okay, sir. If I need to change the method, then I need to change everywhere. No?
Everywhere. Yeah, because otherwise, how will you refer to it? You have to do that.
Yes, sir. That I understood, sir. Yes, sir.
I just anyway, I also changed the name over here. That's fine. So here I don't have to mention anywhere compile or any method, because it is calling code of align auto-wire. Align auto-wire is calling from the embedded object the method which has been injected, and how we are configuring, because this computer is this is an interface. This is not a class. So I will sometimes refer to laptop. I will execute this method within laptop, or sometimes I will use implement this. So in that case, if I go by the property name by name, AutoWare by name, then either I can go by I cannot change this property name because that is the object name. That is the object. Here I can sometimes refer to desktop, or I can sometimes refer to laptop. But I cannot do the same thing simultaneously at the same time, because then there is a conflict. Computer can the runtime engine will give you an error, as we have seen. Okay. Then there is something by type. So here I will give you, I will use by type, or maybe I can just copy this and here I will just say, I will make this off. What I'm doing here, I'm using type. By type, what do you mean by type? Type, simple type. Whenever you refer something by type, an object of type, then what is that type? Type is class. In this case, it is an entity class because you are referring to an entity class. So whenever I'm saying, in that case, see, whenever I'm saying by type, I don't have, because this is not by property. Whenever I'm, you see, here, what is this COM? COM is an object.
Object, sir, yes.
Of type computer.
Computer.
See, whenever I was referring to COM, then I was calling by the name, either laptop or desktop, the bin name.
Yes, sir.
But here now I'm using AutoWare by type. By type is computer. Are you getting me? So this is, computer is not a property. Computer is a type. This is the property. Like age is a variable of type int. Similarly, this COM is an object of type computer. Though computer is not directly a class, but anyway, that is what we are configuring here. So here in this case, this is not a property. Can I remove this? Because I'm using by type. I want to go by the class name. By class name. Okay. So I have taken out all the properties because I'm using an AutoWare auto injection into this class or entity class for either laptop AutoWare. I'm injecting sometimes this one or sometimes this one. But which one? When I say by type, I have not given any property definition. I have just used the bin. Can I do this? Let me check. Let me run this. Oh, I'm getting. Okay, I am getting some other cause. The root cause is no unique bin definition exception. What does that mean? It is saying no qualifying bin of type this. Is it getting a bit confusing? But you see, it is not confusion at all. For the runtime engine, it is saying that, okay, you have given me both of them. Which one will I pick up? By type, you have said AutoWare. Okay, I am going to obey you. Or I am going to search by class from align AutoWare. I know align AutoWare, this class is injecting computer. So this is my type. And I go to computer. I see that, okay, this is an interface. Fine. Okay. So there must be classes which will implement the interface always. So it will go to laptop AutoWare and say, yes, yes. So whoever has implemented computer is one of them is or laptop AutoWare, and the other one is desktop AutoWare. But in your configuration, you are not specifying or qualifying which entity bin I have to pick up to execute. Are you getting me? You are saying, you please give me by type, inject by type, but which one? How do you say it? So no qualifying bin of type com PCS global spring demo.computer. See, it has gone to computer. It has not directly gone to anywhere else because it knows align AutoWare is injecting what? Computer. But your available expected single matching bin but found two, laptop and desktop. Is this enough of a very clear message? Available, but expected single matching bin, but found two, laptop and so which one shall I pick? That is my mistake. So what I say, I have decided, my design says that this is primary. This is primary. And this primary is false. Now, there is some clarity to the runtime engine?
Yes.
By type, when I say, I go to this computer, because this is the align AutoWare is injecting the computer, but computer is an interface, fine. So it goes to all the classes which implements the interface and finds that there are two classes which implements computer. This is laptop and desktop, and laptop AutoWare and desktop AutoWare. And these two IDs will take me to laptop AutoWare and desktop AutoWare. Fine. But now I have said that whenever this by type you see, and you see the primary out of these two, you are going to, this is true. That means I'm going to pick up this one. Let me run this. Any questions from anyone? Oh, maybe I could be wrong. Let me first run it. If it works, then we will have questions. Oh, it is working. You see, code compiled in laptop AutoWare. So that means it has executed laptop AutoWare, not desktop AutoWare. Clear?
So we cannot execute same time.
No, but you are executing it, you are calling it once. No? You are injecting. Think of a situation, you are injecting.
Yes, yes.
Now, all these things can be done automatically. That is why you are, see, that is the main hurdle of a configuration. In configuration, you are configuring it, you are hard coding it. But my requirement is sometimes it will be laptop AutoWare and sometimes it will be desktop AutoWare. Can I do it through configuration? That is the reason that you have come to using annotation. Annotation will give you the Spring Boot annotation AutoWare will help you with this. So you do not have to worry about which one will you AutoWare or auto inject. Here you are hard coding it, isn't it? It's a hard coding. If I want to execute desktop AutoWare, I have to make this true. But you cannot make both of them true at one time. You are making this false. Now I execute this. Which one will it execute?
Desktop AutoWare.
Desktop AutoWare. That's the reason. That is why you have asked this question. Can I do it dynamically? That means sometimes it will be this, depending on the logic, and sometimes it will be desktop AutoWare. No, that is the drawback of configuration. Drawback of a configuration. That's why this is the stage. If I do not know this, I will be finding it very difficult to understand. That day we understood it mechanically, right? The first Spring project that you are using annotation AutoWare. This is how the annotation AutoWare has been developed, because you were finding difficult. Now it is the case of two bins only. But suppose there were 20 bins which were implementing computer or that particular interface. Then what will you do? Will you keep on changing that is not possible. In runtime, you cannot keep on changing the configuration. Therefore, there is a need to do it dynamically. And that is why Spring Boot has taken out the configuration part altogether. But you are learning. And if you do not appreciate that you can do the same thing with configuration as well, you will not be able to appreciate the ease, how you're doing it with ease nowadays. Clear? Can we move to the next topic? Because, what is the time? So we are going to do up to what? 6:30, right? We can cover.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So and now I am open to taking question. This is a very important topic. So all of you must understand this. You can understand that only when you start writing this code yourself. Because while listening to me, it can be understood. You can understand that. But while you start writing the code, you will face some practical problems.
Yes,
And
sir.
I want you to face the practical problems, because then only you will start understanding, because you will get the error messages. You will try to debug the error messages and you will be finally doing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I am sure these are not very simple concepts. But you are learning the latest technology. So you cannot expect. That is why you would be in demand, because most of the people will not know all these concepts. That is where you stand apart. So you must appreciate that these are complex. But if you can understand that, then you are ahead in the industry. Are you getting me? You can attend to any difficult interview session because you have learned from the very root. There is no fakibaji. There is no shortcut. If your understanding is crystal clear, you can attend to any question. In fact, you can answer much more than what the interviewer is expecting. He will be very impressed. He or she will be very impressed. Anyway, so can we move ahead? We have completed our Spring Core IOC. And if you can complete up to this, part along with the first Spring project, the Spring demo, I can assure you the rest will be a bit easier for you, because this has given all the foundation to Spring Boot. Spring IOC, Spring Core IOC has given the foundation to Spring Boot. Clear? Now we are stepping into understanding the Spring MVC. Yes, MVC. Those who have done JSP Servlet, did you? We have had a lot of discussion on the MVC, how a servlet to servlet communication happens, how a servlet and JSP communicate, and how JSP is converted back to the servlet. Clear? But now I'm using that same MVC, that same servlet fundamentals into Spring framework. So this is called Spring MVC. Let me understand this. To understand anything, we must have a good theory background. Clear? I cannot start directly starting with the program. Then you will get confused. If I starting with creating the controller, you will not understand what is a controller, because controller is the basic backbone of Spring. Are you getting excited or nervous or something that you think that it is challenging? Yes, it is challenging. That's why you will be in demand if you can grasp this knowledge. Let us see. I am sure you will understand. So we are starting Spring MVC. We just check this diagram. The topic is Spring MVC theory. This part is the old technology called JSP Servlet. But that is also, that has given the foundation for MVC. MVC is, what is M? Anyone?
Model, sir.
Model. And what is V?
View.
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 And what is C?
Controller.
Controller. That is the fundamental in any web application that you will start. Because after all, you are learning Spring Boot because you are going to support the web application. This is a Spring Boot is basically a backend program. It is basically a thing to give you the REST API services from the backend. And those REST API will be consumed by Angular or React. Clear? Those are the front ends. Front ends will pick up or consume or subscribe to the JSON objects or observable objects exposed by the REST API developed through Spring Boot. So it's a big term. What I'm saying is, Spring Boot is a backend engine, I can say. Backend Spring engine which exposes the REST APIs which embeds the business logic for database transactions for, okay, database transactions. You understand that. Spring Boot is a backend Spring engine which exposes the REST APIs for consumption by front ends like Angular, JS, and React JS. Front ends like Angular JS and React JS. Okay. For consumption by front ends like Angular JS and React JS through or over, better to say over, HTTP client or HTTP client. Okay. HTTP client is nothing but in Spring, in the backend, from the backend, it is like the servlet. So HTTP servlet request and response objects. These are the things we have learned in JSP servlet. Okay. So Spring Boot is a backend Spring engine which exposes the REST APIs, which embeds the business logic for database transactions over JPA, Java Persistence API. So everything is related. So many things you have to learn. Java Persistence API, okay, JPA for consumption, and JPA in turn, which in turn works on the Hibernate HQL, Hibernate query language. So many things have come. REST API, JPA, Hibernate HQL, consumption, and the front ends. So this consumption by front ends like Angular JS, React JS over HTTP client. This is the HTTP servlet request and response objects. Consumption by front ends like Angular and React over this as subscribable or observable objects. This response or request these bodies. This request body over the HTTP client is and the response body, both are observable objects which are consumed by Angular and React or React, whichever, that is the front end. Okay. So big statement. So can you understand the absolute importance of Spring Boot? So Spring Boot, but the entire thing, what I'm saying, Spring Boot is a backend Spring engine which exposes the REST APIs, which embeds the business logic for database transactions over JPA, which in turn works on Hibernate HQL, Hibernate query language, for consumption by frontends like Angular JS and React JS over HTTP client, HTTP, which is nothing but HTTP servlet request or HTTP response request, response objects as subscribable or observable objects. And this technology of consuming, the technology of consuming observable objects is given by given by JavaScript but extended by RxJS, which is nothing but reactive extension of JavaScript. So see, so many things have come into picture. Spring Boot, JPA, Hibernate, front ends, Angular, React, HTTP client, HTTP servlet, request body, response body, subscribable or observable objects. In JavaScript, we have learned about promise, right? We have learned about promise. Promise is nothing but it will work on the observable promise objects, which can be subscribable with dot then or dot catch or dot final. These things we have learned in our JavaScript sessions. Anyway, the technology of consuming observable objects is given by JavaScript, but actually extended by RxJS, which is called reactive extension of Java. Now, this is another subject, RxJS. Like JavaScript, it is an extension, reactive extension, RxJS. Fantastic. I mean, there are so many things that you can understand and try to, if you can understand the basic. But every of this thing will spring up, or it was done through MVC. You have to thank very much to the Java technology of JSP Subnet. That has given rise to this entire thing, this whatever I have written over here. Clear? If you understand them correctly, you will benefit in your career. Okay. Now, I will just keep it in this because we have written this. I will just okay. Now let us understand. Any questions from anyone? Ashish, Aranya, Anirban, Debojyoti, Shantan, Kundan, Roshan, and Subhash?
No, sir.
Yeah. Let us understand then. Very good. Let us understand what is that. We have gone through this while we have learned about JSP subnet. But let me repeat a bit, it will be very good for recapitulation. Okay. So there is a client who is sitting in front of the browser, simply browsing or giving some request. The client gives a request to the server. This is the server or some place, some computer, where with a request, let this server be an Amazon server, amazon.in, the e-portal server, e-commerce server. Okay, any server. So that Amazon server is nothing but a combination of controller, model, and view, or MVC, model, controller. But the most important part is the request will go to the controller, and the controller is called the servlet, which is nothing but a Java program, Java code. Of course, in its own way. That means it has a servlet framework. It will be in that servlet framework. So you will be using that HTTP servlet, request and response body through the servlet. Now, what happens is Any request will first of all be accepted by the controller. And why we are learning this MVC? MVC, because we are basically, see, you have these front ends, but these front ends are the web front ends. The Angular, the React, these are the web front ends. That is the web application, which is hosted on a web server or an application server. That web server might be Tomcat or WebSphere or this what in any other web server.
Glassfish server.
Huh?
Glassfish server.
Glassfish, yes, of course, that is also a good web server. But most popular among them is your web server, and most popular is among them is the Tomcat, because Tomcat is
Yes, sir. Apache
finding,
Tomcat.
Tomcat is finding so much popularity because of its lightweight and of its versatile. It can be plugged into any of the backends and can be plugged in to the front end. So the front ends and the backends can speak directly. This is sort of a middleware. So it can support all the services. Here, basically, the server is the web server, and you can say it's a Tomcat server. This server is a Tomcat server. On that Tomcat server, so can anybody tell me that server, the Tomcat server, has one particular configuration file through which the request will know which servlet to hit, which servlet to call through the controller, because the controller will accept the request, and then it will consult some configuration file which is hosted on the server, Tomcat server. It knows. It will then find through some servlet mapping, it will go to that particular servlet to execute. Can anybody name that particular configuration file? Many of you have learned about
Web.xml.
web.xml. Very good. That is like what we were doing right now as spring.xml. That is also like in the spring.xml, you were concerned with the bins. You are checking the bins because that is a bins container. But in that web.xml, you were having the mapping, and then you are finding that particular servlet engine or servlet Java, servlet.java, the controller that you have written. So that is the servlet. Servlet will accept the request, and finally it will communicate with the model and the view, which is the JSP, and that model can be anything. What can be the model? The model can be your database, the entity. What is the model? Model is nothing but the entity bins. The one you were learning about, the computer, not the computer, but the laptop, and the desktop. These were the entity bins. The LIN. Okay. So that those model which will interact with, actually the model will interact with the database, which will process or hold the data that is of simple POJO classes, Java classes. That is called the model. And then there is the JSP, which is the presentation layer that will present the data to the client. But to present the data to the client, again, it has to come through the controller, the servlet. So JSP needs to be converted back to the servlet. There is a mechanism. So this framework, this MVC framework will help. You do not need to, and be helped by Tomcat server. Tomcat server knows how to convert a JSP file into a servlet file. And from that servlet, the response will travel back to, in a form of JSON or XML, the data The data will be present in JSON or XML, converted to servlet. Servlet will send the response back to the client. And the client will see on the browser the data in a particular format. So this is called the MVC architecture. The controller sends the request to the particular servlet. So the servlet knows how I will capture the request, that particular request, process the data through the model, and then it will hand it over. It will call JSP pages. It will through the dispatcher servlet. You have come to know about JSP servlet when we have learned it. There was dispatcher servlet, request dispatcher, isn't it? RD. Okay. I don't think you have remembered, but these are the things that you must remember. See, everything.
Yes, I remember.
Okay, very good. So that view or the JSP will be converted back to the servlet, and the servlet will finally send the response back. Response body, like here I've said response body, response objects, which are the body. So that with the XML or the JSON data will be presented back to the customer or the client on the browser. Now, there is some problem with this MVC architecture. What is the problem? The problem is that each request has to be handled by one servlet. So if there are 100 requests, there will be 100 servlet you have to design. Is it possible? So your servlet program, JSP servlet programs are very big actually. Because of that, any particular request, whether it is a request for database updation or database deletion or row deletion, or the request is for to view the data or to create a new record, all these requests will be having separate servlets to cater to. Whatever operation you want to do through the servlet, you have to have a separate servlet for that request. So that will be multiple requests will need multiple servlet controller, right? That is a headache. That is a headache, not only headache for the programmers, but also to maintain the programs as well as for the processor, for the memory, to process so many servlets, because each hello,
sorry.
each servlet will cater to one request. That is not possible. There is no front controller for filtering the request and preparing the request for the main controller. See, I will have only one controller, and that controller will come from the front controller. Okay, Anirban,
Yes, sir.
you just mute yourself. So there was no front controller. There should have been one front controller which will pick up the request and then filter it out and find out the controller, find out the servlet which can handle many requests or a particular request. It depends on that main controller or the front controller. Because that is not there, each and every servlet will be designed for each and every request. That is quite a Herculean job. Therefore, Spring came up with the Spring MVC. Spring MVC is something else. You see, there is a user request, there is an account request, or there is a payment request. Let's say there is a banking application. There is one request to create a user or to have a new account. So that is a particular request. Or there can be a request by a customer who is a banking customer to uh, create a new account, or maybe he wants to close the account, the bank account, or maybe he want to uh, create an FD account, create a demat account, all those stuff. So there is an account type of request. So you are categorizing all those kinds of requests into an account request. So user creation, user deletion, user modification, edit of the user, all these things can be handled through the user category of the requests. And there can be another set of requests which is payment related. Either you are receiving the payment or your bank account is debited. Either the credit or you are debited. That means you are giving money to somebody else payment. You are making a payment. Either it can be a bill payment or a electricity bill payment, or it's your mobile bill payment, or it's a Geo a SIM card recharge, whatever. All these things, all these requests which will come will be categorized as a payment request. And after this, the front controller, everything comes to the front controller, not individually separate, but to the front controller. And the front controller will then, basically this is the dispatcher servlet. Basically, within the Spring framework, this is the dispatcher servlet, nothing but a dispatcher servlet, which you have already learned. And that dispatcher servlet now, you will send the user all the category of the user request into user controller, which is also a servlet, but that has come through a dispatch. So dispatcher understands with the business logic what request should go to whom, which controller. So the account type of request will go to the account controller, and the payment type of request will go to the payment controller. Now, is this design better or this design better? You tell me. Is this design better or this one?
Yes, sir. Green one, sir. Swing in.
This one, always. Because it is much easier to handle those requests. There, you see, I have given only 3 category of requests. There can be hundreds of those categories. So there will be 1 or 2 front controller, which is the dispatcher servlet, which will handle or dispatch the request to the particular controller that is designed. That is good for when we will learn the REST API, then we will understand how this architecture is going to help you. The server remains the same. The server is the Tomcat server, web server. Fine. But the architecture has changed from here to here. Spring MVC, this architecture, can solve most of the things, only that it needs a lot of configuration. It is not a Spring Boot. I'm saying this is a Spring MVC. So there is a lot of configuration. Whereas the advent of Spring Boot takes away the need of configuration, making it much simpler. But if you do not understand the Spring MVC, can you appreciate Spring Boot? So to understand Spring Boot, you need to understand the Spring MVC. Many of the places you directly jump into, many of the places, they teach you directly Spring Boot. And that's why end of the course, most of the students there, they don't understand anything. But I can guarantee you, since you have started from the very scratch, that you know JSP servlet, then you know the MVC architecture, then you are going to Spring MVC architecture, then only you are going to Spring Boot. So all these steps that you have taken to learn from the very fundamentals to the highest technology gives you the edge over any person who has directly jumped into learning Spring Boot. Is it clear? Now you can confirm me that are you going to take this approach? Yes, of course. Yeah, only Spring MVC without a Spring Boot, you have to do a lot of configuration. Yes, we will see how big configurations are there. But still, it is much better than handling this configuration and creating hundreds of servlets just for each and every request. No, that is an obsolete architecture. That's why gradually the enterprises or the corporates are shifting away from JSP servlet technology. Clear?
Yes,
Any
sir.
questions? I think it has become a bit difficult for you, right? Or did you understand?
No, sir, it is being difficult, sir. Some difficult.
Difficult.
Yes, sir.
But Ariman, I thought you have learned, you told me that you have learned the Spring Boot.
Yes, sir. On Spring Boot, but some concepts are have not clear, sir. Some concepts.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that is true. It is not that easy, but it will be easy once you understand the technology. And uh, gradually, when you come to Spring Boot, you will find it easier. At this stage, it might appear to be a bit difficult. But let me know, once you have learned the Spring core, is it that difficult?
No, sir.
Sorry, this is MVC. This the bin factory application context. All this is not that, but it is for someone who has directly learning Spring Boot will find it very difficult to understand. Okay, everything has a path. If you follow the path from the beginning, it will help you. Anyway, any other question? Yeah, difficult. I understand. It is difficult. It's not
The
that.
user control you have told that what means
Which one?
user control, is it MBC architect, MBC that diagram, sir?
Acha, in the diagram.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, let me go there. Huh. User request.
Yes, yes, yes.
No. This is a kind of a request. Like you are creating an account, you are
Okay, yes, yes, yes.
you are editing an account. All these are requests. Na? You are requesting from the browser.
Yes, sir.
You are say you are going to go into an application or an app. First of all, it will say that do you have an account? You say no, I don't have an account. So you register yourself. You subscribe or register, or you create an account. Only after you create an account, only you will be a valid user.
Yes, sir.
So that is
Both is same, sir. User control request.
that is a user request. Na? Either you are logging in, or you are logging out, or you are creating a new account, or you are changing your account. Everything is user related. Na?
Yes, sir. User
So you
related.
are clubbing all these type of requests because the front controller will understand that this is a user type of request. Basically, it's a filter. It is giving you a filter. This one controller, otherwise here there was no filter. Every request coming and every request was asking for a separate sublet. So think of a situation where this nobody, like, there is no filter. I mean, anybody is coming and going. There is no control. So there is no front office. There is a scattered office is scattered. Nobody knows who to speak to, whom to speak to.
Yes, sir.
So in that office, you will be lost. If you go to an office to look for a particular problem, you are in a problem. You have gone to a big organization, and there are so many people working here and there, but there is no front office. There is no help desk. How will you find that where to go? And nobody knows anything. Everyone
Yes,
is
sir.
busy.
Very difficult, sir.
So very difficult. So this is the situation, very difficult situation. Everybody is coming and then asking for service. And There is a mechanism, of course, this is a controller that will, through that configuration file, it will understand. But see, you have to distribute the request, and you have to call the servlets. Servlet calling a servlet is a time taking and a resource intensive process. Here, there is a front office, help desk. It will cater to your request. Okay, you don't have to stand in a queue, because this one controller will immediately service you with the particular controller. So gone, your request has gone to that. So you are no longer in the queue. So again, there is an account type of request. That means some bank account related query, or you want to create a new bank account, or you want to close your bank account, or you want to do some change of the mobile number in your account. You want to give a KYC, or you want to do whatever for the account, bank account. Then that is an account request. The front controller knows through some configuration that, okay, I have to call the account controller, which is a servlet program. Yes, that is I will not say any more servlet, because this is not a servlet technology. This is a Spring technology. So it will go to a controller, and that is an account controller. So can you see that there is a good management of the request?
Yes, sir.
Yes. That is the reason we have shifted to Spring framework. It is much more easier and much more user friendly. I mean, the programmer friendly environment. Programmer doesn't need to write too many things. Programmer nowadays only concentrates on the what, not on the hows. All the configuration, like in Spring Boot, all the configuration is taken away. For each and everything, you have a annotation. And that annotation comes from the Spring framework. So you do not need to configure each and anything. Correct? So
Yes,
today,
sir.
up to this much. Any questions, you can again come up. But don't worry, we have just stepped into MVC. We will learn. Okay. But till now, did you find it that much difficult?
No, sir.
It is interesting. You do not say it's difficult. It is interesting.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you would be much in demand once you learn this curriculum. Because there is not enough resource who works on Spring Boot, who knows Spring Boot. Okay. So let us stop here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.